Welcome to the Noble Network Virtual College Fair. Thank you very much for joining us today. We're excited to have all you here, all of our panelists, as well as all of our attendees. Before we kick it off with our first presentation, just a few quick housekeeping items to go over. The first is that attendees are welcome and certainly encouraged to ask questions to any of the panelists at any time utilizing the Q&A feature. If you're going to pose your question to a specific university, please just put that university's name in the question so they can easily spot it. Alternatively, you can ask a general question to any and all of the panelists. Also, just a reminder that your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists will not be able to see or hear you. And there is one other block of sessions right after this one. So if you haven't signed up for that yet, please do so. And about 1 week from today, a recording of the session will be available on that same registration website. At this point, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to our first panelist, which will be from Wake Forest University.
Thank you, Christopher. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me and including Wake Forest. My name is Susan Faust. I'm one of the admissions deans, and happily Chicago and Illinois is my territory, so I'm particularly happy to be here and telling you about Wake Forest. I've been at Wake for 30 years, but only in admissions for 8. So I'm happy to answer questions after this session. If you want to be in touch with me, please do. A little bit about Wake Forest, of course. We are located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We are a medium-sized private liberal arts institution. And you can find us kind of in the mountains on the western side of the state. So we have all 4 seasons. This picture of Waite Chapel in the center here is actually probably could have been taken today because it's a beautiful spring day here in Winston-Salem. So the undergraduate population at Wake Forest is under 5,500 students, and that is the main mission of the university. We do have graduate schools. We have law, business, medicine, divinity, and the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. But the core mission of our faculty is teaching and working with and mentoring our undergraduate population. Our population is about 32% diverse, and our definition of diverse includes race, ethnicity, gender, identity. So we have all sorts of ways of looking at diversity at Wake Forest, and we have an office of diversity and inclusion that works with students, does programming, reaches out to all departments and areas in the university. There's a lot of co-sponsored activities. So we have, of course, a women's center, an LGBTQ center, chaplain's office and such. So there are lots of ways of finding community at Wake Forest. And in fact, today I'm going to talk about 2 things, academics and community. But if you need to take something away from this talk, I hope that you will remember the idea of individual support and the idea of community. So the city of Winston-Salem is about 250,000 people, not as big as Chicago land, of course, but we have all sorts of things and activities off campus. Because we are a liberal arts institution, we have all sorts of majors and minors that are offered. Our class sizes are very small, usually around 20, and our faculty to student ratio is very small, and indeed. Our classes could look at any sort of variation, as you see in these pictures, but you'll always get to know your professor, and that's part of the individual support. You'll always know your faculty members. They'll know your names. You'll have a personal academic advisor who will work with you each term before you actually declare your major and move into your areas. So if you're double majoring in biology and Spanish, or if you're majoring in something with 3 minors, you'll have faculty members helping you in those areas. All students are able to study abroad. We're happy to say that 80% do, so you can begin thinking about where in the world you want to go and spend a semester or a week or a term. Sometimes people stay a little bit closer to home, and you have options. You can go multiple times. Research is important at Wake. It is certainly something you'll do in the classroom because our classes are rigorous and challenging, but You'll also have an opportunity to do research outside of your classes. And that would be something that you would work with a faculty mentor and have an opportunity to work on a project and propose it and deliver it and present it at Wake Forest and maybe international conferences as well. Community is important at Wake. Our motto is Pro Humanitate, for humankind. And so I find that students who are interested in us academically are also interested in what we're about. So students are committed to service. They are involved in clubs and organizations, whether it's here in Winston-Salem or if it's in the state or the United States or even internationally. You have an option, and we encourage students to continue doing the sorts of things that you're already doing at Wake. It's very easy. The arts are very important as part of our community, and you can get involved. You don't have to be in theater to audition for the theater productions. We have a 3-year residency requirement, which goes to build our community, of course, and half of our senior class remain on campus. I think that says a lot about what Wake Forest is all about. We are a member of the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference, so there's lots of sporting events, club events, intramurals that students can participate in. We have 2 ways of applying: early decision and regular decision. Couple extra application. One only application for an additional scholarship in the arts is called the Presidential Scholarship. There's a lot on this slide, but really I think the lower right is the thing I would like to call your attention to, and that is that we will meet 100% of a family's demonstrated need. So there are a number of documents that you need to file, but certainly people in financial aid, we're happy to help you, and certainly you can contact them through me. I'm happy to help as well. That's a little bit about Wake Forest. Certainly, it's just a taste. I hope you'll reach out. By being in this program, you'll begin to receive emails, and I'm happy to talk with you each individually. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you very much, Wake Forest. We've got some good questions coming in through the Q&A, so keep them coming. Questions about majors, admissions processes, etc. Don't hold your questions to the end. You can send them through to the universities at any time. But now we're going to move on to our next presenter, which is from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. You're muted. Wisconsin, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry about that, y'all. Apparently I'm still learning about Zoom. So yeah, my name is Quetzali, and I am your admissions counselor from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. So we are located in the city of Madison, which is the capital of the state of Wisconsin and is about 3 hours north of Chicago. UW-Madison is a large public university that serves over 30,000 undergraduate students from over 120 different countries and all 50 states. What makes us unique here at UW-Madison is the Wisconsin idea. The Wisconsin idea states that education should influence people's lives beyond the classroom. So it's this embodiment of service and academics that has led us to rank #1 in Peace Corps volunteers and #8 nationally in research expenditures. Speaking of academics, we offer 125 undergraduate majors and over 70 certificates for y'all to choose from. So certificates are really similar to what other institutions might call a minor. And all of our majors and certificates will be housed within these 8 schools and colleges that are listed on the right of the screen. Both our Wisconsin School of Business and our College of Engineering offer direct entry options. So if you're interested in learning more about direct entry, let me know in the Q&A chat and I will answer your questions. But regardless of whatever major students may choose to study at UW-Madison, they will be able to create their very own unique and personal Wisconsin experience through a plethora of extracurricular and co-curricular opportunities. To name a few, students might choose to study abroad. We have programs in over 65 different countries. They may also choose to do research abroad or do research on our campus, as that's a really great way to embody the Wisconsin idea. Students can also embody the Wisconsin idea through service, either through a service learning course or through connecting to an opportunity via the Morgridge Center for Public Service. Students can also find internship and co-op opportunities through fairs and directly through their advisors. And if you ever choose to live on campus, which is never required for our students, but is a really good opportunity, students might also consider residential learning communities where they can enjoy unique programming that is catered to their interests. And for our first year students, I really recommend taking a look at our first year interest groups or FIGs, as they are a really good way to get your feet wet with college coursework while also having some built-in academic and social supports. So hopefully at this point, you're interested in UW-Madison. So I want to let you know about our holistic review. Through our holistic review, we consider every aspect of an applicant. So we put particular emphasis though on academic excellence. And what that means is that we hope to see that students are earning those A and B grades usually, and progressing to rigor in core classes. And what that means is that if you have AP, IB, honors, or dual enrollment courses available to you, we hope to see that you're taking advantage of those courses. But if you don't have those available to you, that is something that we also consider as part of our holistic review. We also want to know what you're doing outside the classroom. So whether it's those summer programs, internships, clubs, sports, part-time jobs, family or household responsibilities, we want to hear about it on your application. And last, but definitely not least, we want to hear about your program and campus fit. And that's essentially where we're asking why Wisconsin. And your essays are going to play a really big role in this. So once you are ready to apply, our application opens on August 1st with an early action deadline of November 1st and a regular decision deadline of February 1st. You can apply either through the Common App or UW system application. Both have a $60 fee, but also have a $60 fee waiver. So let us know if you need the waiver. We will ask to see your grades and course information for regardless of whichever app you use. And we will also ask for 2 different essays. The first essay prompt may vary depending on which application you apply through, but the second one is going to be the same, and it's going to ask why Wisconsin. So make sure you take your time with these essays, you do some research, and you proofread your essays. We will also ask for 1 letter of recommendation from an academic source. So that's usually a teacher or a counselor. And we are test optional through the spring of 2023. So you can choose to submit an ACT or SAT score. You can also choose to not submit one. And I want to let you know that if you choose to not submit one, it won't hurt your chances of admission. And last but definitely not least, we want to talk about financial aid. So if you are able to, we really recommend that you submit your FAFSA as early as possible. So FAFSA opens on October 1st. So mark your calendars if you haven't already. And for students who have submitted a UW-Madison application, they will be able to start browsing and applying to scholarships through the Wisconsin Scholarship Hub. So again, these are available for students as soon as you submit your UW-Madison application, and you do not need to wait to be admitted. And if you want more information about on-campus tour opportunities and other updates, I will put a link in the chat where you can get more information.
Thank you very much, University of Wisconsin-Madison. Up next will be Santa Clara University.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for having us here. My name is Kendall Wilburn, and I'm an Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admission at Santa Clara University. So I think we're a bit of an outlier in the group today. We are all the way out on the West Coast. So we are located in beautiful Santa Clara, California, right in the heart of the Bay Area. So today there are 3 main things I want to touch on that I think really make Santa Clara a unique place to be. And then I'll discuss our application process a bit as well. So the first thing, as I mentioned, is our location. So we're in the heart of the Silicon Valley in the San Francisco Bay Area, just about an hour south of San Francisco and about 5 to 10 minutes north of San Jose. So between two really big cities, and lots of airports nearby. So definitely very easy to get back and forth from Chicago. About 55% of our students do come from the state of California, but California is a huge state, so they are not all local students. And the other 45% represent just about every state in the country and many countries throughout the world as well. So we do have a lot of geographic diversity on our campus, as well as in the area where we reside as well. So I'd say one of the biggest benefits of our area is definitely the opportunity for students to get engaged with the companies that exist around us here in the Silicon Valley. So you think Google, Apple, Cisco, Facebook, Netflix, Yahoo, YouTube, they're all about 20 to 30 minutes from campus. And our students really take great advantage of this location in getting internships and then potentially full-time job offers with these companies as well. And as you can see, many of them are top employers of our students. There's also a lot of fun things to do in the Bay Area. As I mentioned, we're near two pretty big cities. The beach is just 40 minutes away in Santa Cruz. And then if you're interested in hiking or skiing, the mountains in Lake Tahoe and Yosemite are each about a 4-hour drive. So pretty popular weekend trips for our students. The next thing I like to talk about is our Jesuit identity. So we are a Jesuit Catholic university, but you do not need to be Catholic to attend Santa Clara. So about half of our students do identify as Catholic or Christian. The other half, 50%, represent just about every other faith background or no faith tradition at all. And all are welcome on our campus. So you never have to attend Mass as a student. And the only religious requirement is taking 3 religion courses as part of our core curriculum. But you can study just about any religion that exists at Santa Clara. Some of our most popular courses in religion are classes like the theology of marriage and theology of death. So they often end up becoming our students' favorite courses, which they don't expect coming in. But as I mentioned, religion is part of our core curriculum. So you'll also take courses in things like ethics, civic engagement, diversity. So we really want you to expand beyond your major and get that well-rounded education at Santa Clara. But I'd say our Jesuit identity is more about the Jesuit philosophy and values. And so really focused on educating the whole person, mind, body, and spirit, making sure that our students are cared for in every aspect of their experience at Santa Clara. And then really using what we learn in the classroom to go out and impact our local and global communities. So social justice is a really big piece of a Santa Clara education. We don't want you to learn just for the sake of learning, but really learn in your desired field and understand how you can use what you're learning to go out into the world and have that impact. That's really the purpose of a Santa Clara education. And so our students often do that through things like study abroad programs, immersion trips throughout the US and other countries, and a lot of community-based learning, especially through our experiential learning for social justice course that's part of our core curriculum. And then the last piece I'll mention is our educational experience. So we are a medium-sized institution. We have about 5,500 undergraduate students. So on the smaller side of medium, but you're really going to get that personalized academic experience here at Santa Clara. An average class size of just about 23 students. So it'll feel more like a high school classroom where you're really going to get to know your professor and your peers really well. Your professors will know your name. They all have open office hours and are really excited to get to know you beyond the classroom on a personal level and see how they can help you in your professional and personal goals as well. And lots of research opportunities with our professors. We are an undergraduate focused university. So our undergraduate students really get that experience and those opportunities to do one-on-one research with our professors in their field. To jump over into the application process a little bit, we are on the Common App, so that's where you'll find us. When you apply to Santa Clara, you actually apply to one of our 3 academic schools in particular, rather than the university as a whole. So we have the College of Arts and Sciences, which is about 55 to 60% of the student body. The Levy School of Business is about 25%, and then the School of Engineering is about 15%. So you'll have to pick a school. You can come in undecided in terms of your major in the school or select one on the application as well. In terms of what we're looking for on the application, we do a holistic review process. So your academics are obviously really important, but we also want to get to know you beyond the classroom and understand who you are as a person and what you're passionate about. So in terms of academics, just a couple quick things to point out. We only use unweighted GPA, so we will recalculate it if your transcript doesn't show that. And then we look really closely at the rigor of your coursework. So we want to see you're challenging yourself in the classroom throughout high school. We are also test optional for at least the next year and hope to continue that into the future. So there's no disadvantage to not having a test score. All students are automatically considered for merit scholarships, and then you can apply for financial aid, need-based financial aid through the FAFSA and the CSS profile. Thanks so much, everybody, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Santa Clara University. Now we're going to move on to the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. Before I start, I want to acknowledge that in Metro Minneapolis, we again lost a member of our Twin Cities community when Dante Wright was killed. And our thoughts are with his family and friends as they mourn. While we are relieved to see some accountability for the killing of George Floyd this week, we also know that we have work to do in striving for liberty and justice for all. I still will share information about our university today and its programs, but we as an institution know that it's important to recognize this loss in our community, as I'm sure it might be on your minds as well. If you would like, I'm going to put in the chat a statement from our university president. You can definitely look that over. This is the day of Derek Chauvin's verdict. And if there are more questions, I'm going to put my contact information for everybody, and so we can have a one-on-one conversation, because I feel like that's a more appropriate approach in this topic. Thank you all. Actually, really quick before I want to make sure that everyone gets that letter. Okay. So the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, we are a large school. We are the Big Ten school, the largest school in the state of Minnesota. We're located right in the heart of Minneapolis and St. Paul. We, as being a large school, we have 150 majors and over 135 minors. And we spread them across 8 freshman admitting colleges. So we do not have a generalized studies program, and you do need to apply directly into your college of choice. You're actually going to choose your top 2 colleges. The reason being is that some of our colleges are more competitive than others, and so you may not be admitted to your first choice college. If that is the case, you're automatically considered for your second choice college. There's nothing more you need to do. But that is also kind of creates a system of specialized support within each of the colleges, as each of them have their own career support services, study abroad services, advising, each tailored to your unique experience and your particular career outcomes. Also, we are a large school, 31,000 undergraduate students. However, regardless of major across the entire university, our student to faculty ratio is 17-1. 80% of your classes are going to be fewer than 50 students. 64% are fewer than 30 students. If you get a class that's larger than 50, it's typically your first year classes, first year calc, first year psychology, chemistry. If you get a class that's larger than 50, you are guaranteed a discussion section or a lab section that will partner with your class, caps off at about 30 students, and will be with a graduate student or professor who's in the same field to help you get your questions answered. You're also looking at an example of a first class. While we may have a couple classes where you are going to be in a large lecture hall, we're moving away from that model a little bit. And you're seeing that we're actually kind of trying to create a more collaborative model, where what you're seeing is you're actually going to be sitting more in small group settings, and then there's microphones at the table. So when you're ready to share with the room, you are able to do so. You don't need to stand up and yell at everybody because there's a microphone at the table. Part of their size comes with benefits. I mean, we have over 900 student groups, more than 200 multicultural student groups, more than 50 intramural sports teams, more than 50 Greek chapters, Radio K, the student radio you see right here. With this, we're just saying that you're not going to be bored on campus, unless you try to be, honestly, because they're going to be reaching out to you. They're going to be, whether it be through a student activities fair, meeting you in your classes, paint the bridge day. You just got to put yourself out there, and I guarantee you someone else on campus has similar interests to you. We are also Minnesota's land-grant flagship Tier 1 research facility. So yes, we have a relationship with our state government, but also that means that roughly 90% of all of the research done in the entire state of Minnesota goes through our system in some capacity. So there's an extensive amount of research opportunities available for our students to get involved in. We also have one of the largest study abroad programs in the country as well. We offer over 200 programs in over 60 countries. So we take pride that regardless of major on campus, if you would like to study abroad, whether it be 3 weeks, a summer, a semester, if you want to see another part of our incredible world to really globalize your experience, please, we would love that to happen and we will support you to make that happen. We also featured 20 NCAA Big Ten teams. So not gonna lie, Wisconsin is our biggest rival. At least we see Wisconsin as that. Hopefully Wisconsin feels the same about us. But definitely we have some intense rivalries, especially with Wisconsin and Iowa that you will feel on campus, definitely. But I think the biggest thing about Minnesota that I wanna make sure that we share with everybody today is that there are some schools out there that are of similar size, capacities, and amount of things to offer. The thing that we find is exceptionally rare is the fact that there is a major metropolitan city, actually 2 of them, located literally in our backyard. Like what I mean by that is that this train, right here, this is the Metro Transit. This is the city train from Minneapolis and St. Paul. You hop that, it goes right in front of our student union. 4 stops, 20 minutes, downtown Minneapolis, this skyline you see right here. If you ride it 35 minutes the other way, you're in St. Paul. And that comes with some immediate benefits. Gives you some access to 16 Fortune 500 companies, which is #1 for Fortune 500 per capita in the nation. We have the largest career fair in the state with over 250 employers a year, twice a year. But then also on the side, college is more than just sitting in a classroom for 4 years. What are you gonna do for fun? Maybe you wanna go see a professional sports team. There are 6 of them right off this train. Show, the illustrious Guthrie Theater, the Orpheum Theater. Or maybe a concert, legendary First Ave, the Armory for more intimate feel. Also, we have over 70 different languages and dialects in the Twin Cities. So we have our own cultural scene. We have our own restaurant scene for you to be able to explore. I also love to share in Illinois, if Portillo's is important for you, we also have that in Minnesota if you need a taste of home. Another thing about Minnesota I'd love to share is a little bit about our why. We have a 93% retention rate, which is pretty good for a school of our size. Also, roughly 90% of all of our graduates enter employment or graduate school within 6 months after graduation. We are on the Common App or the Golden Gopher application. And I'm gonna save these details for later because I recognize I wanna be cognizant of time. So I will put my information in the chat. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, University of Minnesota. Got a lot of great questions coming in through the Q&A. Please feel free to keep them coming. Just a note, if you don't get an immediate answer, don't worry. All the reps receive a transcript of all questions asked, and we'll be able to answer them later. But feel free to keep your questions coming. Up next, we're going to move to Villanova University.
Thank you. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Krista Cantrell, and I'm an assistant director of admission at Villanova. Villanova is a medium-sized Catholic school that was founded in 1842 by the Order of St. Augustine as a school to educate Irish immigrants who at the time were outcast and ostracized from society. They didn't have access to public education, so the Augustinians quite literally held their doors open for this marginalized group of people. We're a tight-knit, inclusive community that welcomes students from all religious beliefs and background. And like I said, we have a saying that we're the type of school that holds doors open for each other. We have about 6,500 undergraduate students, and our suburban campus is located just 12 miles west of Philadelphia, which just so happens to be the 5th largest city in the country. Now, what you're looking at in front of you with this picture right here are the 2 soaring twin spires on top of the St. Thomas of Villanova Church. One thing to note about us is that we are rooted in our Augustinian principles. So there's over 4,000 colleges and universities in the country, but there is only one Augustinian university, and that is Villanova. Now, if you remember 3 things about us from the day, please remember these 3 words. There are 3 values, which are truth, unity, and love, or in Latin, they translate to mean veritas, unitas, and caritas. These 3 values really are universal to us as Villanovans, and it's what we hope to instill in each of our students during their 4 years here. So if you feel like you align with those values, you might be a pretty good fit for us. Now, we take pride in a personalized educational experience that offers close contact with faculty and advisors. We hope to grow your minds, but also your hearts. Our students are ambitious and engaged both inside and outside of the classroom. And as a top 55 university in the country, our academic offerings have both breadth and depth. We offer over 80 majors and minors in our 4 academic colleges, and we are a direct entry school, so you do have to apply directly into one of those 4 colleges that are listed for you there on the right-hand side. We have our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, or CLASS as we call it for short. We are rooted in our interdisciplinary studies and our liberal arts approach. We were originally founded as a liberal arts school, so a lot of that still really rings true today. We also have our Villanova School of Business, our Fitzpatrick College of Nursing, and our College of Engineering. Couple of fun facts about academics. Bloomberg Business ranked our business school as the #1 business school in the country. And our student-produced social justice documentary, Sankofa, took home the gold medal at the Student Academy Awards just last year. We're also one of the top producers of Fulbright scholars in the country, so students here are really globally minded and prepared for success. Upon graduation, they enjoy excellent career networking and positive outcomes, such as a 97% successful placement rate. So that means that 97% of our students after graduation are either employed or continuing their education. And we also have a awesome starting salary for our students. So they're really in good hands once they leave our doors at $63,000. And that average starting salary was from 2020. So even in the midst of a global pandemic, our students are still finding employment out there in the real world. So now to get to kind of the fun part of things, which is student life, sports and service. Earlier I mentioned how students at Nova are known as Villanovans, but we're also known in the sports world as the Wildcats. That's our mascot. We're proud members of Nova Nation. We have 21 national championships and 3 NCAA men's basketball championships, one as recent as 2018. The school spirit can really be felt here at the Finneran Pavilion or in downtown Philly, where the Philadelphia 76ers play at the Wells Fargo Center. But what I've really come to appreciate is that school spirit transcends beyond sports through service and our commitment to social justice. That really is another hallmark of our education is that commitment to service. Our students here understand that in order to ignite change, they have to enact that change from the ground up. And so that's why service is so important to our students. Every year, students perform over 250,000 hours of community service annually. Our St. Thomas of Villanova Day is a prime example of putting ideals into action. Every year, we honor St. Thomas's legacy and go out into the greater Philadelphia to perform service. And it's about 5,000 Villanovans that go out and to do so. So that's a really strong testament of our commitment, especially considering that we're an undergraduate population of 6,500. We also run the largest student facilitated Special Olympics event in the world, which is no small feat, especially for a school of our size. Student engagement is not just common here, it's ever present. There's over 260 student clubs and organizations to participate in. This is really the kind of place where everybody joins in and contributes to the good of the whole. They really understand that it's our collective community that ties our social fabric together. I like to call Villanova a school full of, quote, joiners, where students take pride in their involvement in their good-natured spirit that's centered on self-improvement, but also on giving back. So whether that's through our Blue Key Society, residential life, fraternity and sorority life, our Black Student Union, our Latin American Student Organization, a cappella, dance, our Bollywood Fusion dance team, LGBTQ, women in engineering, it's an exhaustive list. I could go on, but you name it, there really is a place for you here. So as I conclude, I want to bring it back to the 3 core values, which are truth, unity, and love. There really is a culture of warmth and kindness on our campus that's paired with that Big East school spirit and a profound commitment to service and social justice. If you're interested in learning more, I'll drop my email into the chat and we can talk a little bit more about that. We also have a Nova Noble network as well. So we have a direct partnership with Noble schools that offer travel vouchers and other special opportunities as a student here on campus. So you get a little bit extra attention coming from one of the Noble schools in Chicago. So I'll wrap it up there. Thanks again.
Thank you very much, Villanova. And our final presenter this evening comes from, this morning comes from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign.
All right, thank you everybody for having me. My name is Chris Wallace. I am a representative of the University of Illinois in Urbana. My colleague Alex Salas is in the chat answering questions as well. And so we plan to give you a lot of information in a very short amount of time. So to get started, the University of Illinois, just never mind my toolbar showing, it's for a reason, because I'm going to thumb through different slides and different tabs here. And so in regards to U of I, we're a really large school, public university, Research One, located in central Illinois, essentially. So we're in the 2 towns called Urbana and Champaign. which are really large towns. And so these are towns of about 250,000 people, and currently the 5th fastest growing region in the nation right now. And so we're a campus of about 50,000 students, 33,000 of which are undergraduate students and 7,500 plus incoming freshmen every year. So just to paint a picture, we are a really large campus, and it is a really city-like environment. We call it a micro-urban environment. And so in regards to the actual majors, what types of academic opportunities that we have 11 academic communities for you all. And so these communities hold up to 180 plus programs at U of I. And so I'm going to basically give you a shortcut on how to find out about your specific program. So this link here is our program explorer, and we have every program essentially offer at U of I listed here. So just to pick on one, I'm going to pick on accountancy in our top 20 College of Business. And so accountancy here is definitely a really sought after program. You can read pretty much all about the program, what we plan to teach you. Graduation and retention rates for each program are listed here. Please note that we do perform well above the nation's average at graduating and retaining our students, particularly our students of color. In regards to career options, they'll list those there for each program. Post-graduation success will be there. So as you can see, accountancy has a really good starting average salary. And then also program cost changes per major at U of I. And so you can see the cost differentials listed here. And so I want you all to be able to know how you can find the information on your own, because it's impossible for us to cover 180 programs that you all could possibly be interested in. And so moving along, we do offer 7,000 plus classes every year. One of the big benefits of attending a large scale university, most of our classes have like 50 students or under, but we do have 6% of our classes that offer like pretty much 100 students or more. This is a large campus. You can expect to have some large classes, but most of them are more reasonable, 50 students and under. And I can kind of definitely say that from my experience as an alumnus. And in terms of professors, they're really, although we're such a large campus, we do have an 18-to-1 student to faculty ratio. In regards to research opportunities, we are a campus that prides ourselves on research. And so we have a research park that is located on the south end of our campus. It's home to 126 companies currently, some of which are Fortune 500 companies, and our students are participating there in different internships and research opportunities that range between $16 and $24 an hour. Study abroad is huge at U of I. We have 400 programs within about 67 different countries around the world. These are some of the companies that are featured in the park. In regards to, we are an involvement-centric school. We're a campus of 115 countries, 50 states. 60% of our students are coming from Chicago. So we vary in the types of activities that we offer, 1,800 different clubs and organizations. As you can see in the background, this is like the first Sunday on every first Sunday on campus, where students can walk around and sign up for different activities they might want to engage in. So we have a lot of Greek life, Big Ten sports, club sports, intramural sports, academic activities that you can kind of foster yourself with while you're there. So there's a ton to go along. And so these are some of the areas where you have opportunities to engage. I'm going to thumb through these slides kind of quickly because this presentation is meant to be 30 minutes and I'm consolidating into 6. And so these are some of the types of activities that you can engage in, the types of categories. In regards to Campus Town, that's our town, our immediate town within the 2 towns of Urbana and Champaign. So this town is home to 50,000 students. It is a really unique place. The Urbana side of it has more like boutique and unique offerings and restaurants, whereas the Champaign side is more mainstream and has a lot of, big box retail and more cookie cutter restaurants. So this is our school chant, ILLINI. And in regards to inclusion, we are a pretty inclusive school. So we have 5 different cultural houses that are pretty much representing every cultural background on campus. These spaces are created to basically showcase your culture to the greater campus community, provide resources. There are different retention programs within these centers. And so please be abreast of those opportunities. In regards to residence halls, we have 35 different residence halls for you to be able to choose from, 11 living learning communities, and you pretty much can get an apartment after freshman year of college. In regards to support, we definitely support our students in a number of ways. We have a counseling center for students to be able to get mental health assistance right away. We understand that some portions of the semester might be a little rough, particularly finals. so on your ID card, you have a counseling center's number and you can talk to a counselor right away. The Career Center is really good. A lot of students are able to find value in it. They'll create your resume, cover letter. They'll bring companies to campus multiple times a year to interview our students from 9 to 5. And so it is a wonderful resource for our students, and we have plenty more. So I'm going to thumb through the individuality slides, and I'm going to segue more into our application process, just so you can get the heads up and the nuts and bolts on the application. And so we are available this year via 3 modes, the My Illini account, which is our own coalition and Common App. So it's our first year being on Common App. So feel free to use any one of those platforms because they should be good for you. Now, in regards to requirements, U of I does not set firm requirements. We actually have a holistic review process. So there's no set GPA and test score that equals you being admitted to U of I. And so basically all we require is an online application, the application fee of $50 or a fee waiver that needs to be submitted by your counselor. Now, in regards to deadlines, you should apply by the early action deadline. That's September 1st to November 15th. And September 1st to January 5th will be the regular deadline. And the notification time period is, my alarm's going off. The notification deadline period is mid-February. And in regards to what we review, this is pretty much what we review: course grades, rigor, the ACT and SAT score. It was optional last year. We're still determining if it's going to be optional this year, and we'll give you all a word on that as May comes. And so I know my time is up. This is pretty much the rest of what we review, and feel free to ask us any questions or concerns that you might have.
Thank you very much, University of Illinois. We do have a few minutes remaining, so the panelists can continue to answer any questions that came in through the Q&A. We can do a quick round of questions here ourselves. So I'd pose the following question to you. What's one thing you did not have time to present on that you'd like to quickly cover now? Perhaps that's your favorite event or tradition on campus, a fun fact, or maybe there's some question you saw in the Q&A that you'd like to address quickly. And so let's go in that same order and starting with Wake Forest.
Thank you. Well, I would just like to say that Wake Forest is known for its community, but there are lots of communities within our community. So always find a place at Wake Forest, many places at Wake Forest. We do holistic review of applications, and we've been a test optional school since 2008.
Great, thank you. University of Wisconsin.
Hi, everyone. So at UW-Madison, something that I really want to emphasize is that although we are a large university, I think that there are a lot of advantages to that. One of them being that we are really well known. So people really know our badgers. And there are a lot of extracurricular opportunities because we are such a large institution. So again, I mentioned those study abroad programs, which I really encourage y'all to consider. And a lot of internship and job opportunities after graduating is also something to take advantage of as a UW alum.
Great, thank you. Santa Clara.
Yeah, one other thing that I think I forgot to mention is just how many opportunities there are to connect with your fellow Broncos at Santa Clara and get involved on our campus. I'd say most, if not all of our students are in multiple organizations. We offer over 170 different student organizations on campus, and there are new ones created every year. So if there's not something that you identify with already, find someone else who shares that interest and you can create a new club or organization. I'd say one of our most incredible organizations on campus is our student-run multicultural center. It's one of the only student-led multicultural centers in the country and includes 15 different identity-based organizations on our campus.
Great, thank you. University of Minnesota.
Thank you. I forgot to share in our application process, we are also no test required or test optional for fall 2022. Just want to have everybody hear that as well. And then fun fact about us, our school spirit is intense as we are actually the birthplace of cheerleading. Cheerleading was born in Minnesota and we got some serious pride for our Gophers.
Great, thank you. Villanova. Is your mute button stuck?
It was stuck, but now it's unstuck. Very sorry about that. So yeah, we are test optional as well. I'm hoping that's going to be an enduring policy henceforward after the pandemic, but we are test optional for this upcoming year at minimum. We also do meet demonstrated need for students. So if you're filling out the FAFSA, we'll pretty much meet that estimated family contribution. And then I know I kind of talked about a little bit at the end of my presentation, but I really want to stress the Nova Noble Network. It was the origin story of it is that somebody at Villanova who's been a staff member for a couple decades, her son was a principal at one of the Noble schools. And so there's kind of this enduring partnership with students at Noble schools. So again, you can get travel vouchers. So if you're flying back to Chicago from Philly, you're able to do so on holidays. There are also different affinity groups and special resources advising and tutoring and mentoring specifically for students that are coming from Noble. So, any questions, I drop my email into the chat and would love to connect further.
Great, thank you. And University of Illinois.
Okay, so there are a couple of things I wanted to share. One, I encourage all students to apply to 2 majors, a first and second choice. And then the other thing would be that we do have a free tuition program. It's for students who come from a household income of under 67,000. And so those students come to U of I tuition free, granted that they meet the financial criteria through financial aid. So I wanted to mention that. And then we have an Illinois Promise Scholarship that is a full ride scholarship for students with extreme need. And so I definitely wanted to highlight those 2 programs as it definitely affects a lot of my students in Chicago.
Great, thank you. And thank you again to all of our panelists for your great presentations and busy day answering questions in the Q&A. Again, just a reminder to all of our attendees, if your question didn't get answered, don't worry. All of these individuals will get transcripts of the Q&A and we'll be able to respond to you over the next few days. But that does it for our session. So we want to, of course, thank all of our attendees for joining us. You're a great group with some great questions. So thank you for spending a little time learning about these institutions. Before we do close this session, just want to remind you, you will receive a very quick 4-question survey that we ask that you complete. And there's one other block of sessions today. So if you haven't signed up for that yet, please do so. And about 1 week from today, a recording of the session will be available on that same registration website. But thank you again to everybody and to all the students out there. Good luck in your college search. Have a great day.